So this session is AppZen AI Analytics and Reporting is getting a massive upgrade. So that's going to be what we're going to be talking about today. Quick safe harbor slide. Safe harbor slides are usually a little bit dry. I threw in a picture of Chicago Harbor, which is just 2 miles that way. I also wanted to share a quick story about why I'm passionate about this topic. I should probably put this down. I'll put it right here. I was on the phone with a customer about 2 months ago, and this gentleman runs a software company, a large software company. He's like, Luke, I gotta be honest with you. And I was like, oh boy. And he says, the analytics in AppZen it looks like it's from the 90s. It's kind of clunky. I can't really customize it very well. If I try and share or download things, it's just not a great experience. And you know what? He was right. And his feedback was echoed by a lot of folks in this room as well. And so what I'm going to share with you in that feedback was the inspiration for a lot of hard work that's been going on to improve and really overhaul AppZen's analytics. So that's what we'll talk about today. We wanted to have a cool slide to showcase. This metaphor kind of works actually because we're building a brand new engine for AppZen analytics and reporting, and the body, like the way it looks, feels, handles, is actually much improved as well. And there's 3 parts to this. I'll share with you the new look and feel of AppZen analytics and reporting. The second thing I'll share is my personal favorite feature, which is the ability to, almost like ChatGPT, like interrogate your data with natural language. And also a migration plan, what to expect and when. So we ready to get started? Awesome. Let's jump in. So first things first, the AppZen Analytics Suite is getting a total overhaul. The fonts are tighter, the typography is crisper, the color palette is actually just more visually appealing, and there's a lot more visual chart types that didn't exist that are now going to be at your fingertips. We've also standardized some of the reporting, so in the pink bar you could see some standard terminologies and functions that will be basically the foundation of the new analytics engine. Secondly, and for existing customers, you used to have to click on the 9 dots on the top and like toggle to Mastermind Analytics. We just made the navigation a little bit more native simply by clicking on the left rail. So just a little bit more native access point. And then last but not least, the visuals are all highly dynamic. So you could swap out visuals. The drill downs are much better. Basically what we were hearing from customers is like, you deserve enterprise caliber BI, and we're building that. Let's talk about a few more examples. So our executive dashboard is one of these standard dashboards that a lot of you use today. It has 3 value pillars, and I'm using an expense audit example in this. So we have the 3 pillars are across the top there, but there's reducing spend, complying with policy, and then streamlining process. This is the first. So showing the layered cake of expense audits and the reports that you reject, the line amounts reduced, and the lines rejected, showing that kind of layered cake of savings. And we'll talk more about this one in a second. The second value pillar of the executive dashboard, which is just standard for all customers, once this is rolled out, is complying with policy. What expense reports are being submitted that are unauthorized? Easily group them and drill down to take action, give you the insights to run your business more efficiently. And then also, streamlining process, it's a big part of what we do. What Kunal and Anant, we're trying to make your teams do more with the same, maybe do more with less, but overall just like help me get more efficient. These dashboards for the streamlined process anchor or a value pillar easily tracks your autonomous reports and autonomous invoices, and also allows you to see the inverse, which reports and invoices were not autonomous, and how you could take action on those. And if you hover your mouse in this new suite, when you hover your mouse over like, say, line amount reduced in May, this one right here, you can easily click down. It'll open up a report and you could see all the underlying data. Not only that, you can then click down to the atomic level and see the actual report and say, oh, okay, so this was someone on a business trip that got a haircut. Now I understand like what's going on. And then you could zoom back out. So that's just a quick flyby of the new look and feel in one of the standard dashboards. There's also a massive improvement happening to our what we call our reporting framework. So not just dashboards, but the reports that power and you can send and share with your operational team and your business partners. We looked at all the data, what the most important and most used reports are and dashboards in Mastermind Analytics. And we basically said, why don't we just build these standard for all customers? So from the moment you log in, you have standard reports that we feel gets you probably 80% of the way there to having a strong analytical foundation. And then you can then customize and build from there. So it's just a little bit stronger foundation from a standard reporting capability. Now, one of the roles that's really exciting is called the builder role. And the builder role, I'm looking at Dan Shear because he's on my team as a CSM and he loves to get his hands into the data and the schemas, and he's created a lot of reports for customers as well. There's a builder role that democratizes that ability and allows you to click on any report, customize it, change any of the filters or components that you want to investigate, and then save that and share it with your peers in a few clicks. So much more, the data is much more interoperable, shareable, and just easier with a little bit more transparency. This builder role also allows you to take any dashboard. This is just a quick narration, but it allows you to take any dashboard, click save as analysis, tweak maybe a country, maybe you just want to look at one of your regions or one of your business lines. Easily save that analysis, change the filter. You have a brand new dashboard for that use case, which you can then quickly share with your peers or cross-functional business partners. So that's the builder role in a nutshell. I promised you number 2 on this agenda was I wanted to share my favorite new functionality in this whole new analytics and reporting suite. We've been playing around with this catchphrase of like, talk to your data, don't query it. I don't know if that'll stick, but I kind of like the sound of it. But what we've heard from customers is you don't need more dashboards, you need more answers, more insights you can take action on. And that's where this feature really shines. It's called Q&A, and it actually works a lot like ChatGPT. So you log into AppZen, you click on Q&A, and it pulls up a search bar, or like an ask a question bar. You simply type in a question. This was an actual question. Show me the total cost savings achieved through full report rejected group by merchant. So step 1 is you put in your question. Within a few seconds, it returns not only a succinct sentence answer like ChatGPT would right here, but it also gives you some really nice accompanying visuals on how it got to that answer. And at the very bottom, you can see the data that it used, and you can get into the raw data natively as well. This is all within the Q&A experience. And what's really neat is, say you wanted to change that bar chart or that tree histogram to a different one, you can like toggle out the visuals, and you're like, actually, I think this would be better represented by like 100% stacked bar. You can just toggle within the Q&A experience and then share this with peers. Yeah, Sean.
I have a question. I know AppZen Coach works similar in that way, but like, could you ask the Q&A how to lower a threshold to reduce high-risk accounts?
Yes.
Would it give you that answer?
I'm so glad you teed up the next session really nicely with Salman, and you'll be talking about Coach, right, Salman?
Correct.
And so, yeah, there's queryability with Coach, because what you're really doing is just querying our back end and looking. So, like, I should have some examples, actually, for this talk. That's a great use case that I hadn't even thought of, because Coach is relatively new.
That's my thought. I would use it for that purpose.
That's super cool. Thanks for sharing. Bayer team, always leading the pack. Love it. Let's do another example. Which organization had the most rejected reports last quarter? simple type and ask. It gives you the answer stacked by country. What I like about this view is it shows you the data in two ways, not only the volume of reports rejected, but also a histogram, or excuse me, a scatter plot of the revenue associated with those rejections by country. So it can show you a lot with a simple question asked. And that's what I think is the power of this Q&A feature. Let's get a little bit spicy. I was kind of putting on my forensic accountant hat, and I was like, this could get really fun. Like, let's like type around and look for some answers for who's doing what, right? Which employees submit the most high-risk expenses? I was on the phone with a customer, and she works for a large global manufacturing company. And we were having a conversation, and she was actually looking at an expense report while we were talking, and her face just goes blank. And she's looking at this report like, and she says, Elaine, to her coworker. She says, get over here. You got to see this. And Elaine comes sauntering over. And Elaine and her look at the expense report that's on their screen. And Elaine does one of these, oh, almost like a scared Santa Claus. She was like, oh. And they look at me and they say, Luke, how does someone spend $3,000 on wine at a business dinner? And I said, well, sounds like quite the shindig. How many people are there? And she said 15. So it turns out there's $200 of wine per person at this business dinner. And I thought, man, I want to ask questions of Q&A and like get to those insights. But you can do all sorts of like forensic accounting looking at this sort of thing. In this case, this is just grouped by employee and the amount of reimbursed amount by user ID, how you technically call it, but this just shows you the spend by employees, and you can drill down from here to look for maybe compliance opportunities and learn things, look for insights. And then the last EA example I'll show you is show me my top spend by unauthorized category over the last 3 months. These are expense audit. These were questions we actually got from customers. So hopefully some of them are relevant to you. In this case, the top spend by unauthorized category was gifts, a catch-all like others or miscellaneous, and then laundry, and then what Anant talked about, special luxury type upgrades. And just in a few keystrokes, you can get to clarity and insights quickly, which then you can share and action on as well. So. And I know we have some autonomous AP customers in the room as well, so I just wanted to do a quick example for how could an AP team use this? The question that we heard from customers was, show me my highest volume suppliers and their total invoice processing time. I love this chart because it showed two things really succinctly. One, show me my highest volume suppliers, that's the yellow, but also show me the duration, the amount of AP processing time spent on those suppliers. And you can do outlier analysis. You can see, wow, this is actually a low volume supplier, but it's taking a ton of my time. We've all seen like tricky invoices out there. This can allow you to just drill down, and you can actually drill down into the actual invoices and do further analysis from here. But this is one a customer question that I wanted to share with you. So that's the Q&A functionality in a nutshell. I'm really excited to see what this team can do with it. And just to put a bow on some of the operational capabilities, I mentioned when I talked to that customer how he told me our stuff looked like it was built in the 90s and it was clunky and it was not shareable. This new analytics engine that we built is much more powerful. You can easily download, this is an actual PDF. I mean, I think we could make it look a little bit nicer with some headers and stuff, but like generally speaking, it's pretty concise. Easily share those PDFs. You can schedule the reports. You could send them out to your team. If you're doing variance analysis or month-end close, you could have like all of the inputs needed to help your teams or maybe clean up cross-functional business partners and might owe you stuff at the end of the month. Hey, we're trying to close the books. You can send out reporting automatically to them. through email. We support, let's see, both main email providers. And so the third thing I wanted to share was like the timeline for all this. When's this coming? It's been a massive rebuild, literally from the ground up, of our analytics stack. The migration and building work is already happening. The screenshots I shared with you were from production. The heaviest lift is actually migrating all of your previous reports from Mastermind Analytics over to the new engine. That's actually what takes the majority of October. So here we are on October 18th. We're in the process of migrating and building this new engine. Release notes should hit your inboxes, we expect around Christmas time. And then it should hit Sandboxes early in the new year, where you'll be able to see and play with this, get comfortable with it. At that same time, we'll be doing a ton of customer enablement and training you to make sure you understand how to use and take maximum advantage of this new platform. And then we plan to deploy to production in March. So we have a little bit of time to get ready for this and talk about it more, but I just wanted to plant a seed with this group so you know that the AppZen Analytics and Reporting is getting a massive upgrade. I've already seen some of the early glimpses, and I'm so excited to see what this group can do with it. So this slide basically kind of summarizes everything, but March is the date. We are migrating all existing dashboards and reports. We're standardizing a few just because there was so much overlap, so it should be a little bit cleaner for you. And yeah, that's it. That's all I got for you. We'll take maybe some questions if anyone had some questions about this topic. Yes?
So you talked about delivering some of these dashboards in PDF but sending them to email, Outlook and Gmail.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't talk last year about Teams integrations coming in for various components, whether or not, I don't know where that's at, but Google, maybe chatbot function. Is one, the ability to deliver reports going to be integrated with the ability to drop it into Teams? Is the first one. The second one is the ask functionality is similar to this idea of a chatbot in a Teams that's going to be connected. Would you expect some sort of evolution that is available directly in Teams?
I see. I'll just repeat the question. So will this functionality be available in tools you use every day like Teams and Slack? And then also would the ask functionality be extended to Teams and Slack? I'm not sure. I have to ask Kunal, our CTO, on that one. My understanding is that the first part of your question, will this be integrated with Slack and Teams? Absolutely. Like that's coming. I just need to clarify the date. The ask functionality would require some more technical build, so we need to get a little bit more feedback on like, but I see where you're going with this. Like, how cool would it be if your team could just ask it from Teams or Slack? They don't even have to log in.
And I mean, I say it's because we've got a different vendor for a different thing.
Yeah.
SaaS provider, and they have a Teams integration, and it's like a chatbot to send certain things to that. You can ask certain questions to it. And I know that they mentioned it in AppZen or last year that
Yep.
Teams was a big area of focus.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of other stuff that you guys have done since then. So
Yeah.
but I think it would be great because I think they talked about the ability for even, say for example, I'm just a regular person in the business and I authorize invoices for a particular vendor,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to know, did it get paid?
Yes.
And they mentioned that that was something that was being thought on. And
Yeah.
so that ask functionality seems like it connects with that whole same data set, right?
Yeah.
You're asking the data some questions for some answers, and whether
Yeah.
that would be available wider to the business through kind of a team chatbot that says, hey, did my AppZen invoice get paid?
Yeah. Quick straw poll. Who would find this useful if this was integrated into Teams? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to count you twice. 9, 10, 11, 12. And then how about Slack? No. Okay. Just the AppZen team. We use Slack. Okay. So I'm hearing a resounding, like, yes, Teams would be helpful. Okay. I know you have to catch a flight, but so I'll ask Kunal, and then I'll send you an email if I don't catch you before you head to the airport. Yeah. Yeah, question in the back.
Yeah, I know that you mentioned you're going to be moving all of the current reporting over onto the new, whatever, reporting dashboard workspace. Is there an ability to change the names of the standardized reporting? Because a lot of times when I'm going back in, I don't know which one I want to click on, and if I have multiple favorites, I can't remember which one is which, so it would be helpful for us to have that ability to add a tag or something that lets us know exactly what the dashboard is for.
So just for future identification,
Yes.
the use case is, I need to just be able to recognize this either through my own naming convention or meta tags.
Because the way that we speak might be different from what you would
Yeah.
consider to be in the report.
Like the standard reports I shared, I'll just go back to this slide. Like here, you might be like, well, maybe I don't call it that.
Right, yeah.
Okay. The short answer is yes. I just need to I need to double check on what roles and permissions can do that
Okay.
once this is live. Because as you might imagine, there's like an admin role, an analyst role, that builder role I mentioned. I just need to remember what role. But yeah, it's totally possible.
Cool.
If you can't do it, someone on your team could, but hopefully you. Yeah. Question in the back?
Fancy, thank you. So you mentioned that this is a full rework of the tech stack. What are you guys using for like the database component and then the overlay? Because it looks super robust. It almost looks like a Power BI.
It's similar to a Power BI, so it's powered by AppZen. Most of our data is in Amazon Redshift, and so we're building and powering a visualization layer. What we used in the past was actually like an open source Apache database. We basically are rebuilding it from scratch using a lot of best practices, but it's built by AppZen, and the data lives in Amazon, AWS.
And so that's your inherent tool overlaid? Like that you guys built that?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing, awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And it's nice because we all kind of speak the same language here, and financial data is like very different. So we felt it was incumbent on us to rework the schemas and make them cleaner. And a lot of the like standard stuff I mentioned up here, just trying to give you a strong architecture for this. But yeah, great question. Thank you.